Good morning, precious. How you doing, baby? Happy Thursday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya, when you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Shakenya, and hit subscribe, guys. Look at some of the videos, and if you see anything that you like, anything that helped you, anything that was thought-provoking, anything you was like, oh, that's cute, I want to get, where she get that from? Whatever it was, please, just share the video. Don't be selfish, don't be stingy. You got something out of it. Yeah, it's nice out here today, y'all. Yeah, even though I be feeling so sad, it's just so many things just to be grateful for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take every little bit of joy and piece it together, you know, all the way down to just this morning. Just seeing my son, anytime I see his face, I just be, you know, I just be so happy. So just seeing him, right, seeing my grandbaby, I had got him a balloon. I told him I was going to get him a balloon about 4 days ago. You know, kids don't forget. That boy been asking about that balloon for about 4 days now, right? So me being the old grandmama that I am, I'm late in the game. I went to the dollar store, got him a balloon, right? So just seeing him this morning, being able to give him his balloon finally, because I got it yesterday. I know I was going to bring it to him today. I was going to tie it on the doorknob today, but just to see his face, and then Jay went on a field trip with his son right now. All I could say that brought me a little joy there was seeing Jay and I know this is me, and I don't already asked the Lord to give me forgiveness for it, but just him getting a little taste of what I went through raising him, right? Like, it was certain field trips he couldn't go on unless he was chaperone with us, meaning that us is me, meaning that I gotta take off work to go with him on this field trip. So for him to have to go on that field trip today, I don't know, for some reason it brought me a little joy just for him to get a little taste of what I had to deal with him, right? So y'all, today we're gonna move fast. You know, we're getting into your senior year. Your test is tomorrow, and now we're getting more into lectures because you guys are about to graduate and go off to college with this parenting thing, right? So lately we've been talking about relationships, right? But before I say that, this segment is dedicated to mental health. So we do know that going into this segment is dedicated to mental health. So that means everything that we've talked about over the last 4 years, we're getting deep and we're getting underneath and we're getting behind the scenes of why we're where we are right now to where we're talking about a lot of these mental disorders, right? So we're talking about relationships, and along with the relationships, we're talking about the roles that you have in the children's lives. We're talking about reputations, and we're talking about responsibilities. We're talking about representation. We're talking about respect. So we're talking about a lot, and we've built a nice, strong foundation with the classes that you've been teaching your children, along with the things that we discussed of how not to disappoint your baby, how not to fail your children. Those are all building blocks leaning towards the relationship and the bond and the connection you should have with your child. This is part of the reason why they should never think they know more than you. It should never be a situation where your child is walking around, I don't care how old they is, to where they feel like they better than you, or they old, they know more than you. Or they might be smart, you know what I'm saying, but you invented the wheel. You know what I mean? It's to the point where if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't even know how to wipe their ass properly. You know what I'm saying? So you got to dig deep when it comes to parenting and the part you play and the role you play and the things that you've done for your children, right? That should offer layers of protection. That should offer layers of forgiveness. That should offer layers of understanding. That should offer layers of, you know what I mean? So we're talking about the classes. If you disappointed your baby at any time, throughout the failures and the disappointments, of course, that's going to shape the relationship you have with your baby. In most cases, they might not like you as much. But there should always be a level of love and respect there, no matter how they feel about you. No matter how they feel about you. No matter if you don't like them, if you're mad, because of what they did and didn't do. It's always going to be a level of love and respect there just because they're your parents. So if you haven't failed or disappointed them, of course the love should increase. It should be in abundance. It should be more, right? So that should strengthen the relationship. When it comes to the roles that everybody plays, everybody has a part to play in that child's life. And every part that's played shapes the baby, and it goes into and adds to the child's growth and development. Like, it's something that the child should be learning from everybody on both sides of the family that's going to shape them to be the person that they is. Like me being who I am, I'm the way that I am because of the help of both sides of the family. All my aunties that raised me and pitched in when my mom passed away and when my mom wasn't in position to take care of me. All my aunties, and they all operated in somewhat the same fashion and the same way, right? So it all grows into the child's growth and development. And you don't want to stray too much from that. Yep. Like, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Because right now we get into basics. Because once we finish this journey, you'll be able to see why certain things happen. You'll be able to see how certain things happen. You'll be able to see for yourself the destruction and the decay and the deterioration. Like, you'll be able to see it, right? So right now we got a strong foundation, though. Whether y'all still together or y'all still on the same page, we got a strong foundation right now that we built. So in your 9th grade year, we talked about the things that you took from your parents, like the way your parents raised you. We talked about the things that you took from that, and we also talked about the things that you probably changed or the things you probably tweaked. Example, a lot of y'all have failed with your children because you don't practice discipline. Some of y'all hated the fact that your mom and your daddy probably beat the hell out of you, whooped you, probably more than what you needed to be whooped, whatever the case may be. So you decided when you have children, you're not going to whoop them. And that's okay, and that's fine. That's fine. But your parents wasn't wrong in whooping you, or disciplining you, I should say. Let me take the whooping part out. But your parents weren't wrong for disciplining you for whatever reason, for why they disciplined you. So when it comes to you taking what your parents done and incorporating it into your own parenting style, one thing we fail to miss is we stop whooping them because we didn't like to get whooped, but we don't include some level of discipline, right? There's different forms of discipline that can be used. So if you didn't like the fact that you was getting whooped, oh, Pops, I'm live. Can you not shovel just for 2 minutes? Just with the scraping part. I'm sorry, Pops.
No, I know that background noise messes.
Yeah, I'm almost finished though. Yeah, and so we don't want to. So you still have to include some form of discipline because your children have to know the consequences of their actions. They got to know that there are consequences of their actions. So a lot of us tend to go wrong because you don't discipline at all, right? So we don't want to mess that up. We want to, keep it going. You tweaking some of the things that your parents did. You said all that. Now, the mother of the child is typically the pinnacle of everything. As long as I've been here on this earth, 51 years, where they mama at? Go ask they mama. What they mama say? Where, you know what I mean? Call their mama. It was always the mother, and that's because it's her child. She carried the child. She pretty much brought the child here, gave birth, could have died on the table having that baby, right? Took care of that baby, kept that baby safe, did all the things that we discussed. The mother usually does all that, right? So my baby daddies were in my children's lives. One was in there more than the other, but when it came to the daily needs of the child, it was me. Right? And moms, you know what I'm saying. In most cases, when you break up with somebody, the child goes back to who? Mama. And it's a reason for that. Right? I've worked with several different agencies, and we work strongly with CPS. And regardless to what was going on, like the programs, I was always a family advocate or some sort of resource manager to where when we get a case from CPS, our job was to provide resources to make sure that the child stays in the home. And then if the child was removed, we provide resources to the mom for reunification, for the child to come back. So certain programs the mother will have to take in order for the child to be able to come back to the home, right? But they try several different ways and steps before they do that. CPS just don't come in and remove. It has to be some serious abuse and neglect going on top of the allegations for them to actually remove. But before then, they give you a chance to make sure you stay connected to the mom. So in most cases, the child always go back to the mother, and it's a reason for that. A child should never be separated from a mom. Never be separated. It's so much psychological damage that comes behind children that don't have mothers in their lives or weren't raised with their mothers, taken away from their moms for whatever reason. They always long for that relationship with their mothers. And a lot of children don't know how to cope. They don't know how to be. They don't know how to act. And they grow up dysfunctional, right? So, fix it, Jesus. It's so hard to get through this segment. Y'all just don't understand, right? So, this is a dynamic that has been going on for centuries. Like, your parents didn't do it to you. And they probably didn't even get along, but they didn't take the other one out your life, right? The grandparents probably didn't do it to your parents, right? Your great-grandparents probably didn't do it to your grandparents. And when I say do it, meaning that the dad didn't just remove the daughter or the son or the child from the mama, and vice versa in most cases. Typically, that's how it go. Y'all find a way to get along. You go see the baby on the weekend. It's just a cycle, but y'all find a way to make it right. Y'all see each other at the games. You call, I need this, I shoot it to you. Y'all find a way to get along, even if y'all don't like each other, right? That's typically how it go. So if a child is not being abused or neglected, that means a child is being loved and taken care of. So to remove a child from an environment where they're not being abused or neglected is just wrong, and it's abuse. So in my situation, I've been a mother since 17. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. And I was raised by several women, right? All parent the same. All were stable, worked, educated, took care of their kids, was there for them. Just perfect examples in my eyes of mothers, right? Love them to death. I still look to them for guidance and understanding on certain issues because they're women and they're older. They're my elders, right? Some things just remain the same. The dynamics of it all, of a family, just the parenting styles that travels from generation to generation. You don't want to do too much to disturb that. And I'm just throwing that out there because a lot of the situations and a lot of things that we have, they're man-made. And a lot of it is man-made because you purposely do these things. You purposely not allow that child to see their daddy. You purposely poison that child against their mama by talking bad about her in front of them. You purposely do these things to disrupt and destroy a family, right? So typically in a home, and I'm using typically a lot, and I know, and it's purposely being done. And I'm using usually a lot, and it's purposely being done. So typically in a home of multiple children, the oldest usually is in charge, taught to be in charge, taught to take place when mom and dad is not there. More responsibility usually falls on that oldest, and that's generations, I think. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that's usually what's done. So they are there. They are the leaders. Usually what they say go. The youngest falls in line and listen. That's a dynamic that's usually across the board, typically. Yeah. So fix it, Jesus. That's a family dynamic that's universal, right? Some things need to remain the same. Like, we already have so many issues to deal with on the outside world that when it comes to family and keeping the family together, and it shouldn't be so much of a struggle if all these things that's universal is still put in place, right? Like if my child was not removed from my home, I don't think we would have the dysfunctions that we have now and suffering from the disorders that we suffer from, or dealing with the setbacks and all the issues that came after that if it didn't happen. Not to say we wouldn't have went through struggles, not to say we wouldn't have did anything or went through hardship or anything like that, but everything we were dealing with was manageable. Everything we were dealing with was tolerable. And a lot of what we was dealing with was life in general, and the things that you endure when you go through or when you go for certain things that you're going for, right? So nothing traumatic, nothing that we couldn't deal with, right? But this right here was unexpected because the manner it was done and the fact that there was no reason for it to have been done. So no matter if you guys are together or not, if y'all both teaching these classes, the baby's still getting the same, and everything should be okay. Y'all should be able to move forward with a nice, healthy co-parenting situation, right? Fix it, Jesus. So when a child is removed from a parent and there's no abuse or neglect, it disrupts this whole system. It disrupts this cycle. This is how generational curses begin. And this is how they start. Like right now for my family, I don't know how that's going to be, considering that I have children out here who might have children, whose children might not have a grandparent, but the grandparent is alive. It's the first time I've ever had a situation in my family where a child was able to choose their family. Fix it, Jesus. I was brought up that you can't choose your family. This is your family. You deal with them, however way you long handle, you love on them, but no matter what, this is your family. This is your blood. I've never encountered anybody who was able to just choose their family. I've never had anyone close to me where a father has removed a child, and when they remove the child has no connection. I've never had anybody where a child was removed from the mama. And my mom used drugs and nobody removed us from her. Because we had other people that stood in as family that took care of us, right? So to have a child removed from a mother who has no mental health issues, who has no substance abuse issues, who's gainfully employed because I have my own business, who's educated. I have a bachelor's and I'm about to go back to school for my master's degree. And I love being a mom. On top of the youth program where I deal with children with behavior issues, where my daughters were a part of the program. And not to mention my radio show where I support Black-owned businesses every Friday at 7 p.m. on Motor City Radio, only on the Vent Radio Network, right? Not only am I doing all that, but I also have a cleaning company that I put my children in to teach them entrepreneurship to create generational wealth, to last us beyond my years, right? So fix it, Jesus. For a father, I've never known of a dad to do that. So many questions. So many. So we diving into mental health, because that's the next stage of what's going on. Whether you need mental health treatment as a result of your child being taken from you, or your child needs mental health treatment because you were taken away from that child, right? Either way it goes, it's a great loss that needs to be dealt with, right? So, fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. We're going into relationships tomorrow. We're going to dive. No, tomorrow is your test. So let me give you a recap. The only thing that's going to be on your test are the 14 mental disorders that we discussed in the segment. I know you was all nervous. I had you on the edge of your seat. You thought it was going to be hard. No, it's not going to be hard. No. But I will tell you, one of the disorders we just mentioned in the segment. So if you weren't following along as we talking about relationships and talking about the roles and whatnot, you're going to miss one. But I did incorporate it. It's not a bonus. It's actually a disorder. We've talked about disorders, and here it is. So you have 14 of them. So go back in the videos, see if you can find any of the disorders, write them down because your test is tomorrow, y'all. So that's it for Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. I'm at home with it today, y'all. I be so tired Thursday. Because y'all know Wednesdays be my long days. I clean that cigar bar. Then I clean that building in Southfield. Then I clean those 2 buildings in Inkster. What's that, Inkster or Redford? Inkster Road, but it's in Redford. Yeah, shit. By the time I get home, I don't schedule nothing on Thursday morning. Nope. I sure don't. And I can do that because I'm the boss. So, y'all, that's it for Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. Who is this? Instagram. Shout out to Instagram because they've been showing me so much love. Let me shoot some waves out. Okay, y'all, I'm out. And who is this? Facebook. Facebook always in the house. Hey, Facebook. Wait a minute. Let me come up off of here, guys. All right, Facebook. Who is that? Lamar. Hey, Lenora. How you doing, boo? Girl, you know I can't see all the way up. I couldn't see the phone all the way over there, sweetie. All right, guys. Y'all enjoy your day. I'm out. Mwah.